So often students want to know what is really involved in flipping, and basically it's an approach where we take the lecture and the out-of-class activities and we reverse them. Usually we ask students to watch a short video, like less than 10 minutes, at their convenience before the class time. And this is nice because later on, if they're studying for an exam, they can then go back and re-review if they didn't get a certain concept. Now, it doesn't always have to be a video. Sometimes it could be a video that is made by another faculty or something that was on YouTube. It could be a MOOC. It could even be a particular reading assignment or case study. Then what happens is once the students step into the classroom, there is true engaged time between the instructor and the students. So the process that you've been learning to date usually involves going to class where you get the professor for the first time, you get exposure to the material, then you go back and you read the textbook and you do the homework assignments, and then later on you show how well you were at this knowledge by taking an exam. There's two problems with this. The first one is if you come to lecture and you don't get it the first time in class from the professor, then you're at high risk for ever really understanding it later on. The second problem is we know from research that your attention span is only 10 to 15 minutes. So what happens is you might only get the first 10 or 15 minutes of the lecture, and later on you are at risk of ever really understanding the major important things that the professor wanted to say. Students often ask, does flipping take more time? And the answer is no, it shouldn't, and in fact it's just a different time. If you look at the traditional class, often the instructor may ask you to do some pre-reading. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Then you walk into class and you literally have about 3 hours of direct teaching. This is where the instructor is giving a lecture. That is followed by you doing engaged learning on your own or with a couple of friends. Okay, that's doing homework, working on a project, studying for the exam. And this engaged learning time is without the instructor. So if you look at this teaching and learning cycle, the majority of it is done without your instructor. So now we're going to flip this. And you'll spend the short segments of video watching your instructor teaching you. The nice thing is you can always go back and rewind and watch it again if you didn't get something. And that's going to be done out of class. Now, you might also be doing a little bit of pre-homework, maybe a short quiz, low stakes, and this is to help the instructor know, one, if there are things that you still might be confused about, or if the majority of the class still doesn't understand a certain concept. And they can use that then so that when you walk into class and you have now engaged learning with your instructor there, you might be doing problem sets in groups, you might be working on a project, but the really neat thing is your faculty member is right there with you, talking through, helping you understand more of that material. That way then when you leave, you then have the rest of that learning cycle to do things, continue your engaged learning, but now you don't have the instructor, however, you did have that individual there while you needed them.
So we've heard of online classes and MOOCs, and flipping is explicitly not that. It's an opportunity to come to the classroom, and rather than listen to a faculty member lecture and sit passively, it's a chance to practice. And that chance to practice is in a mentored environment where faculty and graduate students can help you solve problems in real time. And that is the essence of engineering when you're going to be asked to do it in industry.
Faculty expectations for students in the flipping context are that as you're watching the classroom videos, the lecture videos, that you would pay attention similar to what you would do in class, but hopefully even pay better attention because you get to pick the time and the place where you're actually doing that. Hopefully picking a place where there's not a lot of distractions like TV and things in the background so that you can pay attention, and you only have to observe the lectures in typically about 7 to 10 minute pieces. We would also expect that you would take notes just as you would in class, So getting some of those extra comments that are not included in slides that may be provided. And then if you have questions that arise, of course, you can submit those either online, or you're welcome to bring them in class, because in class we not only address questions that you may have, but we would also do other active learning exercises, and also perhaps have time to work on homework exercises so you can get help on the problems that you may find the most challenging or the most complicated.
So what we've done is, here's the function plotted. It's
Coefficient in the numerator and each of the monomials to 1. So out of the numerator, we'll factor out the 10. So this becomes 10 times 1/5 s plus 1.
He finishes an order and gets to the end of the line, they come back, and wherever worker 2 is, they pick up their job, and they start picking from there, moving down the line. Worker 2 backs up.
I'm going to talk about longitudinal elements. So when we bend this beam in pure bending by applying equal and opposite
So we are trying to constantly improve our teaching and learning here in the Swanson School of Engineering, and as part of this initiative of flipping the classroom, we do want to get your feedback throughout this semester. You won't realize it, but periodically there'll be someone coming into the classroom to observe the interactions between the faculty and the students, and sometime about the midpoint to the later half of this term, we'll ask you to participate in a 20-minute survey just to get your feedback and impressions about the class and about the flipping aspects and how it's helped you in improving your learning. We hope this video has been helpful in understanding a little bit more about what the flipped classroom is as you start to take a course that is being flipped. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the EERC, the Engineering Education Research Center, and we'd be happy to answer any further questions. Thank you.